Time for the video to get demonetized. Not that I would monetize it anyway, but still. Okay, more story stuff. Where are they? Okay, gameplay. This looks a lot like MK1, guys. What is this stage? It's like a restaurant?
A noodle shop.
Yeah. I think that's new. I kind of like that idea for the stage. Guys, that gameplay looked a lot like MK1.
What do you want? Cole from the movie needs to be in it.
No. Is that Kenshi? Yeah, it's Kenshi. It's so weird saying Kenshi with eyes. Okay, here's the assist stuff.
Oh.
X-rays are back?
Did they leave?
Sort of.
X-rays.
They kind of got turned into something else. Yeah, this is Johnny Cage's apartment, right? Or his whatever. Johnny Cage, he just looks like a dude in this one. he's just man. He's normal human. Another new stage. Okay, here's some assist stuff. I want to see the assists being used for things other than combo filler, right? I want to see them being used defensively or being used as like an anti-air. I guess that's still defensively. You get my point. Oh, wow, I thought that was a new stage. I think it might be. Yeah, so that is human Raiden. So Liu Kang and Raiden basically swapped places. Hey, look, the stage is actually colorful.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Okay, he used an assist as a breaker. Yeah, he did Kano Ball as a breaker. So I think it might just be like JoJo's. You use it for combo filler or breakers.
If your disease becomes known, you will be banished. I only want what's best for you. Or do you secretly?
I don't think this is 60 FPS. Waiting for more assists. Yeah, see, it's just combo filler right now, but that's Goro. But again, a cameo doesn't mean they're playable. They're probably just showing combo filler for the trailer. Striker? I didn't think Striker was ever coming back in any way. Even if it's just a cameo. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, we've seen that one before. Sort of. Oh, you know what's interesting about this though? I didn't absorb this until now. They're doing sort of a fatal blow or X-ray attack with their assist. So I don't know how you would go about coding that. I don't know how you would go about coding that, but they're basically doing team-up attacks with each other. Also, was that Raiden doing lightning stuff still?
Yeah.
So he's not just a regular human. Maybe he has to wake up the lightning abilities or something. See, look, they're together. Obviously, they can't do too many things together because then that would get way too messy, way too difficult to program. But to an extent, it looks as if they're doing custom team attacks, basically, in the
it could
cinematic.
be like a story mode thing.
Maybe. You mean like just scripted certain teams?
Right, yeah. But maybe not.
They looked as if they were kind of staying away from each other deliberately, which makes me think it could be a multiplayer thing with any kind of team. Okay, so let's rewatch this MK1 trailer, and this time I'm going to try to pay a lot of attention to the assists and theorize maybe how they could be used outside of just combo filler. Because in the trailer, they're pretty much just being used as combo filler, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the only thing the assists are used for. It's probably just the easiest way to make a trailer, right? Because using assists for mix-ups or using them defensively, that sort of thing is probably not going to be as easily readable in a trailer. It requires some sort of game knowledge maybe to know how a mix-up is working. Whereas if you see it in a combo, you know exactly what's happening. Okay, opening shot, Sub-Zero. Shoots at Kung Lao. Is that human Raiden? Why is he not wearing the hat though? There's Scorpion. So it looks as if this is where Kung Lao in this timeline actually kind of picks up the bladed hat, because for some reason it's just on the wall in this restaurant. Oh, that's not a hat. Okay. I like the parallel, right? He throws a hat, doesn't do anything, so then he picks up some chakram off the wall and throws it, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe that's how it's going to connect in his brain. Oh, why don't I just make my hat a chakram for next time? I don't think I realized that was a chakram when he threw it. I thought he just grabbed a hat the first time. Okay. This is why I was super confused about the map at first. You see the shot immediately after it shows the chakram in the wood? See what I'm talking about?
The like noodle shop thing?
Yeah. The shot immediately after, the camera shot immediately after the chakram being stuck in the wall. You see a modern fridge behind the bar. But Sub-Zero and Scorpion are running around. Mm-hmm. But I had to remember, like, Sub-Zero and Scorpion are alive in modern time. It's just you usually only see them in more antiquated scenes. Did you miss anything? They did the FF7 remake part 2 at the end. Then go before I put you down. Yeah, so is this human Raiden in the most plain costume ever? Or is that Kung Lao after he threw the hat? Let me watch it again. Okay, yeah, that's Kung Lao. I have had enough of you. Then go before I put you down. I think the facial animations are actually a little better here than in MK11. It's kind of hard to make it look better than MK11 because I can't really imagine how something would look more impressive than MK11. But the facial expressions here, maybe they're just a little bit more exaggerated for this scene. But it just comes across as more confident instead of weirdly uncanny, because whenever you get these extremely hyper-realistic, hyper-detailed models of these characters, and then you have them animating, it always comes across as a little uncanny because they otherwise seem so real, but your brain can tell that there's something off. Then go before I put you down. I kind of like how keyframey that one bit of dialogue was. How does Raiden even exist in MK1? It kind of came across to me, at least in the other trailer, that Raiden is kind of in place of Liu Kang. So Raiden's a human and Liu Kang is the god in this universe. Okay, that's some basic Sub-Zero stuff. He fused to create Fire God Liu Kang. Yeah, but at the end of MK11, I just got the sense that he was able to keep whatever power he got. Whiffed throw. It's weird seeing a Kung Lao move set without his hat, right? So, in this costume, without his hat, how is he even going to use the hat, right? That makes me think, does his moveset even have a hat? But if you have a Kung Lao moveset without the hat, why do you even have Kung Lao in the first place, right? That'll be weird. Yeah, that's some typical Sub-Zero stuff. Oh, also, I wasn't able to listen to it very well the first time, but it actually sounds as if this game has a soundtrack, assuming this is actually music from the game. Can't be sure about that, because in a lot of the MK11 trailers, they had really cool music, but then you find out, oh, the music's actually not in the game. Like the Collector trailer, for example. That's the one I always think of. Collector had such good music in his trailer, and the song wasn't even in the game. Yeah, so that's Liu Kang.
There are other champions, I must gather.
So now I'm in Johnny Cage's house. Johnny Cage just looks like a normal guy. Is that just me?
Sento's mine, and I won't give it up without a fight.
It's weird seeing Kenshi with eyes. What's interesting, okay, so is this part of Kenshi's moveset? Having the full body ghost beside him, or is this an assist? Because the way he's moving independently from it, it almost looks like a cameo, right? But this is supposed to be his moveset. Okay, it disappeared. Yeah, it disappeared and then reappeared when he's doing some kind of special move here. So that is part of his moveset. That's interesting, though. It looks as if Kenshi might be more of a puppet character this time around. Instead of just manifesting the ghost for special moves. See, because look at this. That looks like a puppet archetype almost. The sword above the fireplace is so oversized. Maybe that's why he wants it back. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell the scale here, in my opinion.
Sento's mine, and I won't give it up without a fight.
How many times have they actually showed the inside of Johnny Cage's place? I know they showed it off in the animated movie that came out recently. I guess not recently anymore, but somewhat recently, right? Not the newer one, but the movie that the newest one was a sequel to. Is that the only time they've actually depicted it? Because this looks extremely similar to how I remember it being depicted in that movie. But I don't know if there's any other source material or any other frame of reference they could use. Yeah, I'm really interested in Kenshi's moveset, though, here. Because if he's a puppet character, he's going to have the puppet and an assist. So that might get kind of crazy. Okay, what did he do here? He did some kind of special cancel. Yeah, that's some kind of cancel. Calls in Sub-Zero. See what I mean when he calls in Sub-Zero and he appears behind him? Are you on that part?
Let me see this.
110, 19, 109.
A little ahead.
He cancels into some kind of X-ray or super or something. And Kenshi does this pose, and then Sub-Zero appears behind him.
Yeah.
And it looks as if that is a generic enough template that you could have any of the assists show up behind him like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm thinking they actually are wanting to sort of make cinematics with both characters. So he's doing a cancel, and then Kenshi does an attack, and Sub-Zero's still in startup for his attack, I think. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, so Kenshi does some kind of cancel here, does an attack, which combos into the assist, which was a slide, but the slide ends up turning into some kind of cinematic super. So maybe you have your own character's Fatal Blow or X-Ray or whatever it is, and you also have your cameo character's super. So maybe he's canceling into the cameo super. Jeez. I didn't realize how violent that was the first time.
They go off on him.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Johnny Cage gets effed up.
Yeah.
He gets stabbed in the head twice. That's cool, the ice, or the... It's almost as if it melts and then freezes again. You'll have to tell Ed Boon. Yeah, there's the X-ray. I want to analyze this X-ray again. Okay, it actually looks like it's more or less lined up with everything. There's some really funny anatomy in MK9 with the X-rays, like things that just don't make sense at all. So I'm wondering if they're going to be a bit more conscientious about that sort of thing this time around. Okay, so I don't know how this combo is working, right? He does a cancel. The assist is now out. Kenshi does an attack. And then the assist hits, which goes into a super, but then he's comboing this super into the other super. Yeah, see, so Sub-Zero does his super and then kind of pieces out, and then Kenshi is right there and does his super. So again, that seems like a template in which you could put any two characters because they're not really interacting with each other directly. You know, it's not as if Sub-Zero is making an ice platform and Kenji's jumping off of it or something. Although I guess you could still do that because anyone could, you know, land on an ice platform, for example. But my point is that they kind of seem as if they're just barely close enough that they're working together, right? To make it still look cool. But they're far enough apart from each other that you could have any two characters do any two supers back to back like this. But even so, I'm hoping we get some unique supers. Like, for example, in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, I don't even care about this character, but Winter Soldier got a unique special with Captain America if you played them together, right? And that was the only thing, that was the only instance in the whole game of that, having a unique super, a unique animation if you're playing two characters together. So I'm kind of hoping that even if the game uses some kind of generic template to have two supers go back to back like this, that certain character combinations have unique team attacks. Because if Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite could have it, I'm pretty sure a NetherRealm game can have it, considering how small of a budget Marvel Infinite had compared to something like this. Yeah, that's the question. I don't know if they would do that, because if you're looking at all the x-rays, it's pretty much just showing the skeleton. You're not really seeing any kind of other anatomy, like the muscles. You're just kind of seeing a hologram of the rest of the body and just the bones. It seems a lot cleaner. I don't know if they would show the actual organs like that again. They could actually still have the x-ray and just show the pelvis break, right? They could just show the pelvic bone break and without actually explicitly showing anything. Standard Johnny Cage stuff. So, I mean, Johnny Cage still has that move, and if X-rays are in the game, it's possible. Dude, I can't get over how Johnny Cage just looks like a regular dude.
Yeah.
It'll probably look better if you get a costume with the sunglasses or something, right? I think it's because he's just wearing the casual clothes. Because it's probably for a story thing, since Kenshi was saying, oh, I need to get that sword back. Who is that in the chair there? I feel like Liu Kang would trigger the smoke detectors. Look at when Liu Kang spawns in, a bunch of smoke goes in the air. I don't think the Van Damme skin is supposed to have any story significance. I think that's just for multiplayer.
Okay, let's go back to one here. Who are you again? Lord.
That's funny.
Back to one here.
Why is
Let's go back to one.
Why is Scorpion the only one to salute Liu Kang? He shows up, he's the only one to salute him, and everyone else is just looking at him.
One here. Who are you again? Who are you again?
Lord Liu Kang, protector of Earthrealm, god of fire.
Okay, so we see this stage. Yeah, I think it's hilarious that this game is actually colorful again. I'm glad, though. Some kind of launcher. Okay, so yeah, he calls in the assist early. It looks like the Jack assist takes a while to activate. Yeah, just combo filler. But look, the Jack's assist here... Man, the bitrate on this video isn't great. The Jack's assist here, he kind of moves forward and then jumps up in the air. It looks like some kind of anti-air grab, right? So it might be an anti-air grab against the jump-ins, but again, it looks as if it takes a while to start up, so maybe you can't really use this on reaction against the jump-ins. It looks as if Jax has to walk forward a little bit before the assist happens, but also, keep in mind, the way assists work in this game might just be a little different, because having an anti-air grab assist that takes a while to come out sounds awful in my opinion. So I'm actually somewhat inclined to believe that the reason Jax is having to walk forward a little bit here before doing the attack is that maybe if you call in the assist mid-combo, the assist manually times itself to come out to connect. Because if you remember, with the Sub-Zero assist that was being used by Kenshi, the Sub-Zero kind of takes a while to come out too. Where is it? YouTube, please work.
I won't give it up without a fight.
Okay. I want to look at this again with that perspective. He's doing some kind of crazy cancel, though, so this might be different. But look. See, Sub-Zero is there charging. Kenshi doesn't attack. And then it's almost as if as soon as you hit, as soon as Kenshi hits Johnny Cage, the Sub-Zero attack comes out. And it looks similar when he's using the Jax assist, right? It looks as if Jax is waiting to do the attack, and he actually walks up to stay close to the playable character. See, because he comes in right here, and he's behind Liu Kang, because Liu Kang has been moving forward with this combo, so it looks as if Jax has to walk up and catch up, and then once he's by Liu Kang, that's when he does the attack. So on one hand, that would be kind of interesting, because I don't think any kind of fighting game has done that sort of thing with assists before. But on the other hand, it might make it a bit less fun and interesting to theory craft combos and stuff if the assists are always just going to manually time themselves anyway, because a lot of times the fun when it comes to labbing assist combos is trying to think, okay, when should I call in the assist? Oh, if I call it in this early, I can do that. Oh, if I delay the assist, I can do this, etc. You know what I mean? He comboed after the anti-air grab with the not animality. The dragon that's just part of his moveset now. I don't remember if Liu Kang still has his nunchucks. Does anyone remember if Fire God Liu Kang has his nunchucks still? Okay, so what assist does Scorpion do? Man, that looked like some aerial stuff. It looks as if the screen space is a lot taller than normal, and it might be specifically because there's going to be more air comboing going on with the assists. Look how high Scorpion goes there. That looks like more air stuff than what Mortal Kombat has had, at least in a long time. Okay, no more assists there.
You have skills, Raiden, but you're inexperienced.
I kind of like these costumes.
Whatever experience I lack, I make up for it.
It's so weird that this is Raiden. I'm still going to have to get used to that. Dude, if I pause it a bunch and play it, it freezes.
Make up for it in heart.
Yeah, okay, he still has lightning. So, maybe a human Raiden's lightning ability isn't so extreme. Maybe it's just something he casually does, kind of like how Liu Kang was able to shoot fireballs always, right? Liu Kang was always a human, but he could shoot fireballs, so maybe that's how Raiden can still use lightning. It's just no biggie. You know, it's not god-level powers, it's just like a Hadouken. It's weird, why is Kenshi training with him at a Shaolin temple? And Kenshi's still using his sword, so what the heck's he doing? He's not doing Shaolin. Okay, so here's the Sonya assist. The Sonya assist seems to come out immediately, but again, that could be because the opponent's already in hit stun. It looks as if she might have ran for a little bit. Yeah, it looks like some kind of hit grab, right? Leads to a pop-up. And then he uses Kano as a breaker. I'm assuming this is not a story thing, because why would they be using these assists? But if it's not a story thing, it would make sense. Okay, I guess that's why Kenshi's here, because it doesn't matter. It's just multiplayer, right? But Kenshi is wearing the same kind of garb as human Raiden here, like a Shaolin gi. I don't know if they actually call them gis, you know, Shaolin garb. Okay, here's Kano being used as combo tool instead of just a breaker. That looks like pretty simple combo filler. But it does look as if it would be a projectile assist, right? So you could maybe use that for lockdown. Because he's throwing two knives, so it might inflict a lot of block stun. Also, I kind of like these Raiden combos. That's pretty cool. I really like how this is animated. It's almost like a slingshot, like a rubber band. When he's pulling the electricity back and then pushes it back forward. It almost looks as if he's pulling a bowstring. Okay, so here's another interesting thing. Okay, I think this is actually a big answer. This is an answer to a big question a lot of people have had. So, in a lot of assist-based fighting games, you have to choose what kind of move the assist is going to have, right? In Marvel vs. Capcom, you can choose between 3. I think you also get 3 in JoJo's. That's one I've played more recently, right? But in the single-player only assist game mode in Mortal Kombat 11, there were towers that you could play in MK11 in which you could have assists. And so it was kind of like a prototype for this game, right? It was just for single player, so it wasn't balanced or anything, but it existed. And correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't played it in a while, but I'm pretty sure, and I think this is why people have been speculating about it, pretty sure in the MK11 assist towers, or tag towers, whatever it's called, the assists are mapped to the right analog stick. Is that right? And with it being mapped to the right analog stick, not only do you get access to 1 attack with your assists, but you get access to 4 because you can press up on the stick, down on the stick, left on the stick, or right on the stick. And so I think that's what was making a lot of people speculate about, oh, do you get 1 attack per cameo character, or do you get all of the cameo character attacks, right? And I'm thinking you actually get access to all of them, because we already saw in this same match Kano throw the knives, and now he's using the laser eye, right? So I doubt they would only get 2. I'm thinking if they have it more than 1, they're going to have 4. Either 1 or 4. I don't think they would go in the middle and do 2, because if you could do 2, that means you would have to either dedicate 2 separate buttons. Maybe you could hold like down plus assist or something like that. But I'm thinking the right analog stick isn't being used for anything in a fighting game typically anyway, and you have 4 cardinal directions that way. So it's probably going to be 4 assists or 4 cameo attacks. That's my guess. Raiden always has some of the best cinematic supers. Look at that. The trail of blood after he launches him. I'm really not a fan of the like gore and fatality and stuff in Mortal Kombat, but I actually kind of like the artistry of the blood trail when he gets launched there. Then Melina, they're kind of implying Melina is sort of like sort of having this vampiric disease, sort of, and that's what's making her like a Tarkatan. Are you still here?
Yeah.
Okay, you haven't said anything in a while. I was wondering if you left.
Well, I don't really know much about that.
Well, normally Melina is a little science experiment that Shao Kahn made by taking Kitana's DNA and combining it with Tarkatan DNA to basically make like a monster version of her, of Kitana. But in this case, it seems as if Melina has some kind of like vampiric disease. You know what I mean? Like a werewolf.
Yeah.
Not that it's literally a vampire or a werewolf disease.
Strapped to a thing.
Yeah, it's like something that is afflicting her instead of, yeah, they even say disease. Yeah, so I don't think it's actually part of her DNA in this case. So that's an interesting take on Melina. Not a Katana clone. I'm talking the MK9 reboot universe.
If your disease becomes known, you will be banished. I only want what's best for you. Or do you secretly covet my throne?
This is very similar to the intros in Injustice 2. The way you have the pre-battle dialogue like that. Yeah, they might have said that they're just twins in this one to explain why they look so similar. Also, I want to hear what they're saying. Some people were speculating that Melina was the princess in this universe and Kitana wasn't.
You will be banished. I only want what's best for you. Or do you secretly
Yeah, so Melina seems to at least be the heir in this universe. So they're doing some kind of slight role reversal going on. I think that's an interesting way to remix it. I don't think that's a bad Katana costume design.
My throne.
Trying to pause it on a good keyframe here. Yeah, I don't think that's bad. I like the Melina costume more, I think, though. Okay, what assist does Katana have? Melina has a teleport. Did we see Melina do the Melina ball at all? I need to keep an eye out for that. When they finally added her to MK11, it was after I stopped following MK11, but I heard a lot of people complain about how she played in that game, and I don't know if she had the Melina ball in that game, but the Melina ball made her so good in MKX, so I'm wondering if they would deign to bring that back. Melina's the first one to use the assist here, right? Yeah, combo filler with Goro. Yeah, and Goro hits for a really long time, so I'm calling it now. I think Goro is going to end up being one of the most used assists because that looks like some of the best combo filler ever, and it gives you corner carry, right? So, like I said, the most recent assist-based fighting game I've been playing is JoJo's, and in JoJo's, the main assists that always get used are the ones that attack for a really long time and carry the opponent really far, like Diego Brando. Diego Brando comes in, swings his knife around, and keeps on attacking and carries them quite a ways. And so he's one of the most used assists in the whole game. And this Goro seems to be the same sort of archetype as that. And even if they block it, that could give you some really good lockdown. The thing is, I don't really know how the mix-ups would look in a Mortal Kombat game with assists, because typically when you would do a lockdown assist, you would try to go for a mix-up, right? And if you're calling in the assist from one side, you can call it in while you're jumping over them and try to cross them up in a normal fighting game, right? So cross-ups are usually something you would try to go for if you call in an assist, but you don't have cross-ups in MK because MK has a block button. So you can't really go for a cross-up when they're being locked down. You would have to go for either a tick throw or just go for a high-low mix-up after the block stun. So I'm really curious how the assists are going to be used offensively here after lockdown, since cross-ups don't really exist in this game. I doubt they'd be taking out the block button. I think the block button is pretty much a staple for the franchise, right? She couldn't special cancel. What? That sounds awful. MK11, Melina had to commit. Yeah, that seems weird. I feel like they could have fixed that. Punishing the Melina fans for their bad behavior. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if at least subconsciously that's why they designed her like that. Granting them their wish, but with an ironic twist. Yeah, you can have Melina. Here you go. The worst Melina's ever been. Oh, yeah, there's Melina Ball. Okay, I was wondering why she was standing there and not following Katana there during the Goro assist. But there's Melina Ball. It's back. It's probably going to low-profile things. And here's more of a typical Raiden costume. Okay, so the Kung Lao assist, he comes in front of him and spins. This looks like a very defensive assist, right? This looks like an example of a super defensive assist. It looks as if you have an active hitbox all in front of you like that. It is being used as a combo filler here, though, for the launcher. Man, it launches really high. Yeah, I really think they're encouraging some more air stuff in this game. Look how high that launches him. And then, if you notice, just like earlier, during this air combo, it looks as if you're not falling. It looks as if you're staying in the air. You have some hang time in the air so long as you're doing a combo. It almost looks kind of like Fujin stuff, right? The wuxia style martial arts in which they're just kind of floating as they're doing combos. See, he's not falling at all. In fact, if anything, he's moving up slightly here. And then he did the fly in the air. It looks as if doing the fly in the air makes him fall back down. See, he arcs near the end there. That's cool. That gives you some, yeah, naturally that gives you a lot of corner carry. Like usual. With that move. You're going to call it the cameo fights. The cameo fights, lore, or fighters. Cameo fighters are fighters pulled from other and or previous timelines. See, I was thinking that before too, but MK11 kind of did that already because MK11's whole story gimmick was that you have the old versions of characters meeting the new versions. You have the future selves meeting the past selves, right? And they interact with each other. So in this game, if they get another universe version of themselves to be a cameo fighter, isn't that kind of the same thing as MK11? Evaluating the MK11 story, that's a different topic. I'm not getting into that. But I guess you could say it's an alternate universe version of yourself, which is, I guess, significantly different enough than meeting a past version of yourself. Because an alternate universe version of yourself isn't really even the same person. It's a different person, right? Whereas a past version of yourself is you. So maybe that's how they're doing it. Maybe that's how they're getting by with being able to have a team of 2 of the same characters have, you know, Sub-Zero, or have Johnny Cage with a Johnny Cage cameo. Oh, also, this is a very fantastical looking version of this map. The forest with the faces on the trees. Because MK9 was the most recent depiction of this map. And MK9, this map looks really scary. And it's really dark and gloomy, like a spooky forest. And in this stage, it almost looks like something from a fantasy setting, right? I mean, I know this is pretty fantastical, but you know what I mean. Like high fantasy. You see what I'm talking about? Are you there?
What's the time?
3 minutes. The forest stage. It looks very high fantasy with the like emanating light from the eyes of the faces on the trees. It looks very high fantasy for something as dark as Mortal Kombat. I'm still so surprised Stryker is here. He just comes up and blinds you with his light. I wonder what his other ones are. You think he just comes up and pepper sprays you? What's weird is when they call in the Stryker assist, the camera almost changes immediately. Oh, that's... Okay, this is another weird thing. So, Melina goes for a throw. Look. I don't think... Maybe this is a combo, right? But... She puts him in hit stun, goes to the other side, and then goes for a throw? And instead of doing a throw attack animation... It's like a restand, right? But it's as if she cancels the throw into an assist. And I think that might be why the camera is immediately going into a cinematic mode here. Because maybe you normally get a certain amount of damage off of a throw. But maybe if you cancel it into an assist, it lets you combo, right? If you follow up the Stryker assist here. Because the way the camera's moving here is not how the assists have been portrayed thus far. It looks like she's not getting a combo off of that, though. So maybe they're just using an assist to get extra damage off of a throw, right? There might be a cooldown on the assists. I'm not talking about the... I'm not reviewing the MK11 story here. That's a different topic. You're done. That's an interesting stage. The one with fireworks in the background. I feel like that might make certain things hard to read. This is Kung Lao with the bladed hat this time. So let's see if he uses the hat at all. So if we do see Kung Lao use the hat, I'm going to wonder, like, could he still use the hat attacks during the one fight in which he didn't have a hat at all? Maybe in a scripted story segment, you actually have certain moves locked away, right? Maybe as the story goes on, you actually start unlocking more moves for the characters. Like as Kung Lao gets the hat, you unlock more moves for him. so that way they can actually teach you how to play the characters. Instead of just playing a character for one fight and then swapping to a different one the next fight. That's something I never really liked about Mortal Kombat story modes, is that they make you play all these characters that you don't have any interest in playing, right? Because, you know, most people just play one or two characters. And so usually I just have to pause, look at the move list, find some kind of basic string, and then spam it over and over until I win, right? So maybe if the story is way more focused on Kung Lao and Human Raiden, maybe you're just playing them mostly. And so they're able to expand their moveset over time. Raiden gets more lightning stuff. Kung Lao gets his hat. So you can actually kind of learn the characters over time. I'm still skeptical they would do that, though, because they probably want to have every character be playable. At least all of the good side characters be playable in the story mode. But that's just an interesting idea on how to do the story mode better, I think. Okay, they're using an assist as a breaker again. Who is this? I don't know who that is.
Are they gonna add any new characters, you know?
Every Mortal Kombat gets new characters, so I'm sure some of them will be new. They haven't shown any new characters yet. It's all been returning stuff so far. Well, aside from the guests like Omni-Man and Homelander. But new original characters, they haven't shown yet. Man, they're showing off a lot of costumes here. Also, that's a new stage. See, they're doing the same kind of cancel that Kenshi did with Sub-Zero earlier. Yeah, so there's the Kung Lao X-Ray. They kind of did a similar thing with the blood trail here that they did with Raiden's launcher. The big arc of blood. I kind of like that they're being more artsy. This might sound horrible, but I kind of like that they're being a bit more artistic with the blood and the arcs of the blood trails and stuff, because it always seems as if with Mortal Kombat, it's just all about the violence and the gore, and it's just so tasteless. Yeah, so that was basically just a Kung Lao X-Ray into the Scorpion X-Ray. So I'm really thinking that they're trying to make this a gameplay thing. Izuna drop. That must be a fatality. But it looks as if they have team fatalities as well. I hate replaying the fatality part because I know YouTube's going to hate that. But it's the Kung Lao fatality. No, I don't know. That might have been an edit. I think that was a cut. I don't think this was actual gameplay here. I don't think this was seamless gameplay, I should say. Moving it frame by frame. Yeah, see, Sub-Zero is still in one piece here. Also, look, from one frame it's this, and then the very next frame his arm is through him. Yeah, Sub-Zero's in one piece here. Yeah, that's a cut. They were trying to make it kind of seem like a team fatality, but I don't know if that could happen. Okay, making Sub-Zero relive that. Jeez. That's pretty similar to Raiden's MKX attack. I forgot what they were called in MKX, but Raiden had the best cinematic super in MKX, in my opinion, and that looks pretty similar to it. Okay, they just wanted to show off another one of these. Oh, I think that's... Okay, so it looks as if here, the opponent is actually already beaten, and this is an opportunity to do a fatality, right? But instead of Scorpion doing the fatality, he calls in the assist to do a fatality. So I think when you have an assist, when you have a cameo fighter, you have access to either one of their fatalities. Just like how I think you have access to either one of their supers, in a way. So I'm really interested to see how they can iterate upon that, right? I really want to see them do things with assists that haven't been done in other fighting games, because like I said, you're not going to have things like lockdown into cross-up, because this game doesn't have cross-ups. So they have to have the assists be unique in other ways, right? So, the game's still coming out soon. It's crazy to think that it's coming out so soon after Street Fighter 6. So I'm pretty much just going to be streaming Street Fighter 6 until this game, and then I'm going to try out this game, and then I'll have to decide which one I want to focus more on, right? Because I think both of them are going to be pretty good. You're assuming the villain will be Fire God Liu Kang, as his ego and literal god complex make him unable to take criticism. Yeah, so I actually got that sense from the first trailer as well, because Liu Kang was... The setup of the first trailer made it seem as if Liu Kang created this paradise, right? No more strife, no more war or anything. But you still have people like Kung Lao and Human Raiden like toiling in the fields. But I thought, okay, well, maybe he thought a paradise with absolute no work or anything would just make everyone lazy, and then there would be no point to anything. So maybe he kind of made it more like an Edenic paradise in which you still have to work on the farm, but then that's it, right? You work on the farm for 3 hours in the morning, and then you just get to relax the rest of the day. But then at the end of the trailer, when Shang Tsung shows up, he was like, oh, you know what happens when you defy a god? You just die. Oh, you declared war on me. Like, anyone that doesn't want to go along with the rules I've set up just insta-dies, right? And then it shows Liu Kang do the fatality on Shang Tsung. So I actually did get that sense as well, that maybe they're kind of setting up Liu Kang as someone that kind of got a god complex, naturally, because he's a god now. So I think that'll be kind of interesting. It's kind of like the arc of Dark Raiden, right? But Dark Raiden, turned into Dark Raiden for different reasons than just getting a big ego. But I think that's going to be the kind of arc they go with, somewhat similar to Dark Raiden in a way. But I kind of like how Shang Tsung is kind of like the serpent in the garden type character, right? He's the one wrench thrown into the plans of Liu Kang. Like, so in a way,
this game is set after someone like I don't know, Jack.
Oh yeah, ask a question, because you can be an audience surrogate.
But it's like that game is set after like this huge freaking like reset of the universe.
Yeah, so
everything worked out, right?
Yes, and
why there might be some regular freaking noodle shop.
In MK, it's weird. So at the end of MK11, Liu Kang finally fulfills like this whole chosen one prophecy that's been going on for 10 games straight, because it was kind of like, so Liu Kang has
what it amounted to.
Liu Kang was like this chosen one archetype, but the thing is, he got killed, and like literally he got killed and turned into a zombie. So everyone's like, because Raiden was basically grooming him this whole time about being the chosen one, and oh, you're going to save everyone, you're going to unite all the realms, you know, this is your destiny, the elder gods told me, yada yada, and then he dies and turns into a zombie. What do? We're on a bad timeline. Everything goes bad. Raiden is able to send back in time a memory, like he's able to send his memories back in time of what happened. So he sends his memories back in time to MK1 through 3 time. Like when MK1 is happening, he gets these memories of his future self beamed into his head. So it's almost as if he time travels back in time, kind of like a Steins Gate time travel where you're sending memories. And he tries to prevent all this stuff from happening. So he thinks, okay, I have to stop Liu Kang from getting killed. And then he ends up getting Liu Kang killed like in a different way. And so it just feels like no matter what, this guy's just effed. And so it's something that's been in the works for a very long time, that Liu Kang is kind of ascending to this godhood level at the end of MK11. Something that's been getting worked on for the past 10 games, right? Because it's weird to have 10 games straight of this character that's supposed to be this chosen one archetype that's just always getting just absolutely destroyed and just dragged through the mud, basically. And so he remakes, like, so MK9 was kind of a reboot because it was like Raiden going back in time to MK1 through 3. And so the events kind of play out similarly, but in different ways, kind of like with an ironic twist. Like, you save Smoke, Smoke doesn't get turned into a cyborg, but Sub-Zero does. So you get Cyber Sub-Zero instead. So that was a reboot, right? MKX is just a regular direct sequel to MK9. And then MK11, at the end of MK11, since Liu Kang gets all these powers, he's able to literally, because they beat Kronika, they use her hourglass, they literally reboot the universe, like hardcore reboot it, which means it can be anything now.
Yeah, but so it all amounts, it's like lame freaking noodles.
Yeah, that's the weird part, because you'd figure if Liu Kang were able to remake the universe, it would be completely different. It would be like abstract colors and shapes, like actual paradise, no suffering, no strife, you know, stuff like that. which is why I thought it was weird that the universe is weirdly similar to like the regular universe that they were from.
Yeah.
And like it shows
Maybe that is the point, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because it shows Kung Lao out sweating in the fields. You know, he's like, it shows Kung Lao working in the field. You know, he's wiping the sweat off his brow. So maybe Liu Kang came to the conclusion, maybe a paradise in which there is no threat of loss or pain isn't actually a real paradise, right? Maybe they're taking the philosophy of, oh, you need some kind of like pain in order to appreciate anything else. So maybe that's why it's like, okay, Kung Lao's just out working in the fields all day. And that's Liu Kang's idea of paradise. But yeah, you have like regular noodle shops.
Like the exact same.
Yeah, but you have like, so I was thinking, okay, it's like Shaolin temple, like Shaolin monastery stuff everywhere. Like the whole world is just like Shaolin temples. Yeah, you know, like like everyone just meditates all day, and that's Liu Kang's idea of paradise. But in the restaurant, you saw there was like a beer fridge. Like, why would alcohol exist in this kind of paradise? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that means alcoholism must also exist. And so, like, did you really make the universe any better if you still have things like alcoholism? It's weird world building. Yeah. I'm curious what they're going to do.
But they might be like, oh, he tried, but it always reverts back to
yeah.
the same freaking
yeah, maybe it's going to be like that.
Do it?
Like, he had the ability to remake the universe, but he's only able to remake the universe once, and then after he remakes it, it devolves back into its normal state.
Yeah.
I don't know if the writers are going to get that philosophical about it, because there's always missed potential when it comes to Mortal Kombat story stuff.
I've never heard anyone talk about it. It's like, if it was set like 20 billion years after the, you know, whatever, and like it all went back to...
Yeah, because my question was, if he rebooted the universe, is he rebooting the universe and then starting at like universal year 0? Or is he rebooting the universe and having the universe made with like a modern day setting? Like, for example, you know, the thought experiment of what if the universe, like real life, what if the universe only started existing yesterday, but as soon as the universe was made, you were like, you spawned in with memories of things having happened before, so you only have the illusion of it being made beforehand. Maybe Liu Kang remade the universe like that. Maybe it's like the first Matrix. Humans rejected paradise because humans only understand suffering. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe they could make it like an Edenic thing, like maybe the humans didn't like Liu Kang's idea of paradise, which is why I think Shang Tsung might actually kind of ironically be an anti-hero type character in this, because like I said, Shang Tsung is kind of coming across as like a serpent in the garden kind of archetype, kind of like a paradise lost. Like Shang Tsung could kind of be like a Luciferian archetype, because Lucifer is basically the protagonist in Paradise Lost, ironically. So I think Shang Tsung is going to be pretty interesting in this story.